What up, nation? Welcome to another edition of the Wise Take MLB DFS Wise Stream. CK013 here. You can find me on Twitter at CK_013. And I am joined once again by the GOAT, the true OG that you know as Paulie D. You can find him on Twitter at Paulie with 8 D's. Paulie, what's happening?
What's happening, baby? What's Gooch?
And not Eric Gordon. I can tell you that. Definitely not Eric. I mean, listen, it's not that he's doing terrible. It's just like when I see players play terribly, it bothers me. And when I see them do it, this is a guy for years now. He's been this guy. There's the other Rockets guard. There's always two guards. The other one's always hurt, and Eric Gordon is always that guy that gets to come in and get a boost in volume, and he sucks every fucking time, bro. Like every time. 0 for 9 from 3, man. 0 for 9 from 3.
It's unreal.
Unbelievable. But anyway, we're here to talk some baseball and change up the tone. We've got an interesting slate. It's not massive. The offenses are kind of interesting. The pitching is pretty good. We got a lot of, for considering it's an 8-game slate, we have a lot of pretty good pitchers to go through today. So I'm excited to hear your thoughts and put our strategy together on how we're going to dominate the DFS world once again, Pinky in the Brain style. What are your overall thoughts on this one?
Nice, manageable 8-game slate, loaded with great pitching. I don't know. This is probably not the greatest slate for me because I look at things like, Shane Bieber is going to be 150% owned. Like, should I start looking at the Pirates? And realistically, it's probably not a good idea, if you know what I'm saying. But, this shit's loaded with good pitching. A couple offenses, I think there's going to be, like, clear chalk on this slate. Just, like, obvious, this guy, that guy, these offenses. So I'm trying to figure out how to get different. Yeah, get different.
All day. I, too, am trying to figure out how to get different. Yeah, get different. So hopefully we can figure this shit out through and through. Let's start off with some pitching, Paulie. We got a few guys, as you mentioned up top. You mentioned Shane Bieber is projected to be extremely popular. Talk to me about the pitchers you're looking at up top.
So I haven't even decided how many teams I'm going to build today. I'm entering contests as we speak, but I'm probably going to do like 5 or 7, something along those lines, and pitch him in like 2 or 3. I think like the pitching is so good and deep that going all the way up is like wasteful. Like you can use that for some bats that, like this could be one of those lower scoring slates where like a 130 on DraftKings wins you all the money. You know what I mean? So, 1 or 2 bats that have those big 25, 30-point days could really make the difference here. So, yeah, he's fine. I'll have him on 1 or 2, but I think, playing the Pirates, that's one whole nother story, but just being like underweight and taking guys like Sonny Gray and Dinelson Lamet and Woodruff instead of him, could be interesting. I also don't mind Kershaw against Seattle. I mean, Seattle's been pretty damn good with the bats, but I do think Kershaw is crafty enough to kind of wheel and deal around them. And I don't think anybody's going to play him. And he's, I think 7 innings, 7 strikeouts, 1 or 2 earned runs, plus the win are firmly in order. I really like Gray. I really like Lamet. I really like Woodruff.
Yeah, I think that it's weird because we have a lot of really cheap bats and we have a lot of expensive pitchers. Yep. So I feel like it's almost too comfortable to take 2 like Bieber and Kershaw and just be done with it and build kind of the teams that you want. So it kind of makes me think that maybe the cheaper options like Lamet, who on like a core slate would be the chalk because he's affordable. Maybe they're not going to be that popular because instead of taking Dinelson Lamet, you have a chance to take Clayton Kershaw, Shane Bieber. So it's kind of interesting. I think one of the more polarizing spots on this slate, I just kind of left me scratching my head, was Jose Barrios. So he has not been very good this year, but he's playing the Brewers, and the Brewers haven't been very good this year. one of those things is going to win out. Like I lean towards the Brewers bats a little bit just because I didn't like how Barrios got roughed up twice in a row by the Royals. But something there is going to win out. Barrios has not been great. The Brewers have been awful. Something there is going to happen. I just couldn't make my mind up as to what. But I do agree with you in that I have some interest in Denilson Lamet and some of the cheaper guys, and not necessarily more than the expensive guys, but I definitely want to make sure I have them because I don't want to not play them just because I don't need them. Because if I don't need them, that means nobody else felt like they needed them. So
right.
Bieber and Cash, I like Kershaw more for tournaments. I like Sonny Gray as well. I'll have plenty of them. You mentioned Woodruff. It's very risky against the Twins, but I like it. And he's going to be another low-owned option because he's playing the Twins. So I have confidence in Woodruff stuff.
Yesterday? No.
Yeah, no, it's true.
They are cold. Like, there's no denying it. They're not last year's Twins right now.
It's true. Cold like dicks. With that said, so you talked about Lamet. Are there any other mid-tier guys, and Woodruff, of course, or any other mid-tier value guys?
And I also like Sonny Gray. He's more towards the higher end against St. Louis. But mid-tier value, you want to get real nuts. I think Kukuch is a guy you could take a crack at. Lefties against the Dodgers is something, I think. I forget who it was that I used against him recently, but they did. Oh, Marco Gonzalez, teammates.
Oh, yeah, Sheldon.
But that feels a little more risky. Kikuchi's not as good as Marco. And then Asher Wojciechowski, I actually kind of have interest in against Boston down in the real cheap seats. That's it, man.
Yeah, with Asher, that game's that's another one, bro. It's one of two. Either Asher's going to go out there and be the pitcher on the day because he's too cheap. And last year, 2 out of his 3 games against the Red Sox were very good. So either Asher goes out there, dominates the Red Sox because they're another one who just sucked in 2020, or the Red Sox finally have a game closer to what we expect from them. I think Kevin Gausman's kind of interesting. I would assume he's going to be the more popular value play that people go with. He's been really good. He was chalk last time, pitched well. He's playing the Angels team that Johnny Cueto destroyed last night. Shout out to you, Paulie. I know you were talking about Cueto. And other than that, I think we have pitching that's too good up top. We have a mid-tier strong, top-tier strong, so that's really it. Not trying to fork around. What about the bats, Paulie?
Yeah, I think I might take a stab at Kyle Gibson too today in that mid-tier. The Padres can be striking out. I know they've been red hot, but Gibson has not looked good. None of it makes sense, but that's what you do on these kind of slates. And I don't know. I look at this Padres lineup, and it does not scare me very much. I think this is a lineup where Gibson's stuff could actually do all right, but I'll probably regret ever mentioning that. That's wise. Baltimore Orioles, they just keep doing it. No one thought they were going to be good, but they are. Santander, this guy's just a crusher. I like Dwight Smith lower in the lineup. Cedric Mullins is in the lineup, decent prospect hitter. Hanser Alberto, Renato Nunez, even Ryu Ruiz. And I don't even think they're going to be unpopular because they're, relatively cheap except for 1 or 2 of them. And guys are going to need those cheap bats to do that dirt. I like the Cincinnati Reds against Wainwright. I just like this lineup. They got Moustakas back, Castellanos on an MVP tear. I like Jesse Winker, Eugenio Suarez. And I like the Arizona Diamondbacks against Oakland. I just don't really believe in Sean Manaea and his junk stuff. I think Ketel Marte just crushes left-handed pitching. Sterling Marte, Christian Walker, Kevin Cron's a really sneaky power bat out there today that I like as well. And then the San Francisco Giants, who've been good too. Them and Baltimore, the 2 bigger surprise teams this year. Taking on Jose Suarez, left-handed gas can, who got litty a lot last year. But again, I think this is one of the teams that will get usage to jamming those good pitchers. The expensive offense that I don't know if it'll be popular or not, but I guess would be Cleveland. Jamming in Jose Ramirez and Lindor and Santana and Franmil against Trevor Williams. I don't really love that, but I do think it'll get you a little contrarian. And then Milwaukee did finally get going yesterday, and I think I do want to go back there considering how Jose Barrios hasn't looked good. They'll probably be really low owned. And, they won a couple people some big money last night. Nobody had them, and I don't think anyone's going to have them again.
Man, I was afraid you were going to say that about the Indians because they're the team I don't really have exposure to right now that worries me the most, right? Like, they're going to be low owned, number one, because the guys you want are a little expensive in Lindor and J-Ram. Number two, they're in a pitcher's park. Number three, they're in a game that has a 7.5 implied run total. A little worried about them. Trevor Williams has, in the past, had issues with lefties. This year, he's had stronger issues with righties, but if you look at a larger sample last year, the lefties were the ones you wanted against him. As far as the teams I'm looking at, I will have some Red Sox stacks. Like I said, I think it's a boomer bust spot for Asher. I don't want to be missing out if the Red Sox do finally get their shit together in a small park, another small park. After that, it's funny because there was a couple things. So the Padres, I'm kind of on the other side of. I do like the Padres bats against Gibson. It's not necessarily against Gibson.
Every day.
I do. It's true. It's definitely true. And the one day that I backed off, what happened, Paulie?
Yep.
All day. I pivoted off, and they went dirty on the Rangers. Tatis got in trouble. Who cares? But the other three teams that I had written down, you hit right on the head. The San Francisco Giants, number one, against a lefty. This team was built to hit left-handed pitching. They did it again yesterday. They're going to do it again today. Angels' bullpen's been terrible. I like the Arizona Diamondbacks. If you look at their numbers this year against lefties, you're going to be like, what the fuck? But if you look at what they did last year with the same basic lineup, they were fucking nasty. They were straight nasty. They were just like, you didn't fuck with them against lefties. And if you look at the strikeout rates, they still don't strike out against lefties. Like that's still not happening. So I do like the D-backs. And then the Cincinnati Reds, man. Adam Wainwright's been kind of sitting around, right? Like I don't know. I think that game in general is kind of interesting, but I don't really love picking on Sonny Gray. But I sure as hell don't mind picking on Wainwright. If you look at the Reds lineup, bro, they got a sick fucking squad. Moustakas is back. It's fucking nice.
Yeah,
it looks good. And then you look at their pitching. They got Luis Castillo, Trevor Bauer. Like they got a good fucking team, man. Like if they can dodge the COVID, they got a pretty good looking fucking team, no doubt about it.
They might be the trailblazers of the major leagues
of the baseball world, perhaps. If they can just avoid the COVID.
If the Blazers win tonight, do you think they beat the Lakers in the series?
I'm more inclined to think that now after what Skip Bayless said. What did you see? I tweeted you. Once I saw him say that, I was like, "Oh fuck!" I was just like, "No, I can't be on the same side of this guy." I was like, "No." Like that.
So the $100 bet I made on the Blazers to win the championship.
Yes.
They're offering me $400 buyout right now.
That's not bad. They must really think.
That's hot. For a bet that I'm still a huge underdog on.
Yeah, they must really think you have a legitimate shot.
Yep.
By the way, our reverse jinxing of Eric Gordon worked. He got to 30.75, which is just enough for 6x. It worked. That's what I'm talking about. The reverse jinx all day. He's still terrible. Shot 0 for 10 from 3, by the way. He took 20 shots. He took 20 shots, and we're celebrating a 30. Anyway, back to baseball. Sorry, Nation. Please hit the like button if you haven't already. We'll pop into the chat, and we'll do some dong watching, all that good stuff. Tony A says Tony Bart, top hitting prospect for Giants at catcher for 2,600.
Yep.
Brian Campbell says IMO Padre stack and Denilson Lamet as pitcher 2 is solid. Artful Dodger. All I know is I'll play Tatis every day. I don't. There's nothing wrong with that. favorite GPP stacks. We just covered it, but we can kind of reiterate, Paulie. I think the ones we agreed on were the D-backs, the Giants, and the Reds. Those 3 teams we both murkified. And then there were a couple, I think you mentioned the Brewers against Barrios as a low-owned stack. And then what was the other one? You mentioned, I think there was one more you mentioned, right?
I talked about Baltimore a little bit, but I think I'm going to come off that.
Salty Balty. I'm with it. Let's do some home runs, and if there's no questions, we'll, roll out, as they say. So who's going deep today?
Jesse Winker.
Ooh, I like that. The Winker. The one-eyed Winker. Let's go with... I'll go with JD Martinez.
Alright. Jay Dizzle. Oh, you know who's homering is Rafael Devers. Yeah, definitely homering. It might just be a solo, like doesn't really impact the game much, but he's gonna homer today.
He's gonna homer. You heard it first from Paulie D. All day. All day. All day. Did you pick a second one? Oh, you did. You did Devers. The Devers. Let's go with Mike Moustakas. Let's go with Moose.
I took Winker. You're right. I'm sorry. Medicine. Give me
medicine.
give me Josh Bell.
I'll go with Ketel Marte, and that is how we do the diggity dong watch all day. I don't see any questions. I guess that's gonna do it for us. I see Artful Dodger says Verdugo will homer. Brian says Devers is heating up. Artful Dodger D-backs are interesting. It sounds like the chat is with us, Paulie, and that could mean one of two things. Either it's going to be a great night. It's either going to be a great fucking night for the nation, or it's going to be a very miserable night for the nation where we're all fucking pissed and throwing and kicking shit around. But whatever it is, hit the like button. Hit us up on Twitter. That's it. Hit the like button. Hit us up on Twitter. Wise Take Nation Twitter at @wise_takes. Send us your screenshots. Good or bad? Why not? If it's bad, we won't retweet you, but we will look at it. Rex asked, "Do you guys still do coke?" Rex, I'm glad you asked. I don't do it. No. I don't think we need it to be on a show like this, to be doing what we're doing. When you do as many streams as we do, you just fucking act stupid sometimes. It's just what could you say, bro? What could you say? That's just thug life. But they don't know, Paulie.
They don't know. I don't know why you were glad he asked, though.
Glad we asked what?
You said, I'm glad he asked.
Did I say that?
Yeah.
About the coke? Yeah, I don't know. I guess I have those things that I say just like no matter what, like those generic responses to give me a couple seconds to give a real response. And sometimes they don't always match up to what makes sense. So I'm not glad you asked, Rex. To be clear, I'm not. To be clear, I'm not glad you asked. But that was a throwback. We used to get asked that all the time. We haven't gotten asked that in a long time. So maybe today was more one of them throwback shows. You know what I'm saying? It was just like in the zone. But it's gonna be a wild slate. It's obviously been a wild show. Just wild. Just crazy. Just a bunch of crazy guys acting crazy on YouTube. Anything in closing, Paulie, before we get up out of here?
Nope. Do the dirty. Good luck. Holla at your boy. See him in the streets. Let's go Blazers.
There we go. For Paulie D, for myself, the entire Wise Take Nation, as always, good luck.
Yeah.